Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another Natred kind of review. I'm going to throw it on the playlist, but I'm not going to highlight any names here because I'm not really sure who these participants are going to be. This is going to be a little bit different format than the other reviews that I've done because this is just kind of a pickup sparring practice, it looks like. There's no real deep analysis we're going to have of watching two people go at it for several bouts in a row. Also, there's a couple of flow fighters, and this is just a personal thing for me. I'm going to be skipping through the flow v flow matches just because I don't have a lot to offer on that matchup. It's not one that it's probably one of the matchups I'm least experienced with. I only really like fighting flow when I'm fighting against board fighters, and that's about it. So, anyway, let's see what we can get out of this video. There's probably some sweet tidbits to be learned. Now, the shield beam flow fights, I may have something to actually contribute here. So we have a pretty big extension here by our board fighter with the shield retracting backwards as part of this movement. And this is a pretty classic thing I've been trying to point out that you want to avoid. Watch what happens with this shield. So it moves back and we swing out. And I think that this might be a kind of learned instinct. What am I doing? I'm not even drinking my beer yet. This seems like it might be kind of a learned instinct. Maybe he's used to this flow fighter throwing for his board side shoulder. Even if that's the case, look at their footing and look at the range between his shoulder and the flow fighter. I don't think you need to be worrying about your shield being back. I think you need to be projecting to protect your forearm here. He doesn't. The flow fighter stuffs this shot attempt and steps into the stab. Maybe if that shield had been dragged out there with the hand more, it would have been in better position to pick up the step in and counter stab. Very pretty shot from the flow fighter. I need to get some of these sports goggles. My vision is just good enough to where I don't have to wear glasses while I fight, but I'd probably be better off if I was. Man, this is the thing about fighting against flow fighters. As a board, you gotta be willing to move your feet and jump around. I get it. I'm a big fatty. I have to force myself to move against these flow fighters. Because if you just stand here and allow them to wing shots at you, you're gonna get overwhelmed. So we have some motion. We got just a lot of shield movement coming out here. This sword resetting backwards into this low position is kind of what I think sets up the cascade of bad events for our board fighter. The sword being out of position on the return means he's going to bring his shield all the way across, and there's a lot of times where you are going to want to bring your shield around the side of your body, actually turn it around the side of you. I think here just keeping that shield in front of you flat and just moving it over would be plenty enough to cut off this angle. Yeah. And our shield fighter just kind of gets caught lazily moving backwards. Yeah, he even just said it right there. I got lazy. Yep, you know it, dude. You know it. I hope I never come off as really disrespectful or sarcastic in these things. It's just kind of my natural demeanor. I'm no hot shit either. One thing I do like from our shield fighter here. Now I have to go back to really see when he did this. I like the half choke on the sword. I like that he's choked up a little bit. You know, he's obviously having a little bit of problem defending his sword side, and this is a thing you can do to shore that up just a little bit. Who won that one? Yeah, that's what I was saying. That is an interesting series of blocks from our shield fighter here. I think that this is way too much shield movement, way too much gear movement, hands going all over the place, but very impressive that these are all nice solid blocks, and he's able to respond with his sword hand and his shield hand to get the blocks he needs to stay in and land a shot for the kill. Yeah, it's just it's impressive. Lots of movement. One of these things that, yeah, maybe it's not crisply, like, mechanically actually correct, but very neat to see. Okay, I like this little explosive piece of footwork here. I like it kind of leads in, like, I'm going to go to your right. Nope. Stop. Plant. Swing over to the left. Probably, this is a scrap of a fight here. A Flow V board. But let's just watch this in real time, see how it goes down. Simo, good patience there from our board fighter. Just nope, 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 nope. Staying at home, staying at home. Stabs in. Yeah, I'd call that in time. Good Simo. And Shield Fighter, I think this is the same guy that stabbed him a second ago. At this point, I might be adapting and trying to maybe lead left hip forward. This seems like a pretty stereotypical lead up for our Flow Fighter here. The cock back to try to sell, get the shield to come over while you throw for that shield side shoulder. And this is like, I feel like our Shield Fighter may have turned on a little bit here. Because this is like, okay, I'm going to respect this fake a little bit by dropping my hand down to, like, cut off this lane. But shield, rock solid. Unless I totally... Nope, I guess not. I guess he got the angle on it. I thought I should really be watching these things to their end point. I think we can kind of identify the problem here with what I pointed out originally about the board fighter. Is this is like pretty linear footwork we got going on here. Yep, I think that you almost have to match the mobility of your Flow Fighter that you're fighting, or you're going to have to be faster than them. You definitely can't be less mobile than them. I like to try to push the tempo against board fighters, or Flow Fighters, but I'll save any big examples of what I think I'm capable of until my knee's not trying to explode and I'm not super overweight. Okay, I picked up one of the very good shots to have in your arsenal as a Flow Fighter. Yep, just managed to step in, and yeah, we just got our board fighter standing a little bit in front. You gotta move, man. I think that it's a weird. I wish I could get like a better remedy for this, but you have to find ways to kind of push the tempo and dictate the pace of the fight. And I kind of hate giving instruction like that because I think it's hard to give good, like, no, this is what you actually do to accomplish that. How do you tell somebody how to enforce their will or push the tempo? I think it comes down to your footwork, your energy, your mobility. Choosing to be the first person to initiate the action, whether that be with a shot or a series of shots or some footwork or a bait. I think that you cannot ever let Flow Fighters get comfy at all and like try to dictate pace at all. All right, we'll watch this exchange all the way through before going back and looking at it. Called Simo there. Definitely saw the shot on the shield side here and trades for the stab. Stabs are good, but I don't think you want to be having this much. Yeah, you don't want to be moving like kind of into the zone against flow fighters while you stab. You're just going to give them angle to get around you. And also, this is just a lot of shield movement again. And one of the hardest things I think to dial in, especially if you like fighting punch grip, is knowing how to keep that shield right where it needs to be. And which shield board fighter falls prey here to one of the like classic things you have to get over to fight against flow fighters is I try to throw a shot and they just go ham sandwich on my arm. How do we keep this from happening? We don't high cross flow fighters. Stop it. Don't do this. This like chamber time. I come up, I chamber, and go. Yeah, you're really like, I know that you're probably not thinking that you're moving your hand into like position to start that swing, but your hand's going to be tracking up, and your opponent's perception is probably going to pick up on that and notice it tracking up. And like again, one of the things I think as a flow fighter you want to get good at and have in your tool set is just this ability to machine gun shots at somebody that high crosses you. If you want to attack this lefty or this flow fighter's cross top quadrant from you, I think you want to be throwing behind the shield from the top, or dark side under the bottom of your shield and coming from the bottom. I think that projecting your arm out in front of your shield and crossing, you're making your arm close 3/4 of the distance it needs to for your opponent to land a strike on you with their left arm. I just pointed at the screen, but yeah. Yep, and then gets, like, yeah, doesn't retract his arm fast enough, gets caught chicken winging. This video is 21 minutes long. I'll probably do, like, the first little bit of it. I don't think I'm going to watch all 20 of it. So we're posting off screen to finish this. Alright, not going to try to analyze the fights we can't see. Happy the board fighter won it so we continue to watch them fight. Now again, I think you have to start adapting your patterns. You've been fighting this flow fighter, he's been stabbing you a lot. I think that you got to stop having this right foot forward projection. And you might say something like, well, right foot forward is how I usually fight, and this is just what's comfortable for me, and I like it, it's good. And I would tell you it is. But I think that if you want to try to up your game, one of the things that you're going to have to be able to do is switch back and forth. You're going to be able to have a few different solid guards I think you can flip into, and the first place you can start as a board fighter to develop this is left foot versus right foot forward. Get used to it, develop it. I feel like if you're going to be fighting punch, you're ahead of the game when it comes to adapting. I think it's probably a bit harder of an adaptation when you're fighting with a strap shield because you have a lot less mobility. But yeah, I think that this is, at this point in time, I think a realization should be made that, did he just do it again? Did he just do it again? A realization should be made that this dude's just going to stab the shit out of you. Right hand goes high. Scary, 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 scary. Bottom hand comes in. And we're just like, our footwork is not, our feet aren't square. The hips, though, with like twisting back in the torso like this guy is, the squared up shoulders, this is what's going to keep getting you stabbed if you keep fighting right foot forward. Now, I fight right foot forward against a lot of lefties. I just like try to say, okay, I fight right foot forward against a lot of lefties. This lefty's stabbing the shit out of me when I fight right foot forward. I'm going to, change it up a little bit. I'm going to fight some left foot forward. I'll do like a video about my specific guards here in a, whenever I have a day where I'm out of content to review. But I generally have three. I have a traditional left foot forward guard. I have a pretty traditional right foot forward guard. I tend to fight pretty like heavily profiled and bladed, and then I have a left foot forward fool's guard where I'll have my shield actually pretty low, covering like my hip and my stomach, and my right hand across in front of my chest, kind of projected. And that's just purely to fuck with people. I don't think it's mechanically sound. It's just something that I do because there's some things in that guard I know I can pull off, and it's just a way that I can throw different looks at people. Interrupt their ability to build like a pattern of my behavior. Okay, got the stab for the side trade there. So little thing, I know this is something that I think I saw Raven talking about. I've heard Curai talk about it a lot, but setting up your shots. I think it's a lack of a setup that gets stabbed here. There's a reason that he gets stabbed here. There's nothing really here. It's even a little telegraphed that the stab is coming. Like we have this big dip down, this big dip in the sword tip at range. Little flourish up. Okay, hiding a little bit. Then gradually lower, and yeah, your brain decided like a second and a half before you threw this stab that you were going to throw this stab. Cool. I think you should start thinking of though, like, I want to land a stab. How do I make sure that stab lands? So like if you had say maybe thrown a like flat cross chop, a flat cross chop at this flow fighter, made contact and then gone in for a stab, that may have stopped you from getting wrapped here because he would be tied up defending it. And also, I just like to analyze, like, well, what the shield doing? What the shield doing? So many bad habits can be corrected by by lowering the amount you move your shield. So we have the shield in like a decent position for a neutral guard. It comes up and over in response to like this over the top motion, this high cross and wrap. I think here, it's hard to say. I'm not going to belabor the point. It's a good bit of shield movement, though, and I think, again, instead of wrapping that shield around you and changing the angle, you want to keep that shield flat in front of you and plane it across your body as much as you can. Try to keep it as front-facing as possible. But at least we didn't get a purely negative trade here. Trade evenly. I like this little motion right here. This little like motion that he does with his sword tip. Good, but I haven't seen you really throw any shots from that like beginning motion, and so like if your fake just doesn't look like the shots you're throwing at all, it's obviously gonna be a fake. I'm not gonna like harp on this tiny little couple of frames of action, but yeah, looks like stuffed by linear movement again. Comes in, gets flailed on. Kind of hard for me to see what he's doing with his sword. Yeah, there was like one moment in time where our shield fighter here really was rock solid and like just holding true to his guard. And like, I don't know how long this guy's been fighting. It took me, that's cool. I said I wasn't going to look at much of the flow fighting stuff, but I want to check this out. It took me a long time to get to the point where I was like pretty steady with my shield. I forget what my point was, but we're not going back. We're not trying to remember. We're forward. Yeah, good body language here. Two things. Look how casual this looks. Look how casual our flow fighter on the right here looks. Just fucking chilling. Then, boom! I can move, baby. That's a really pretty. That's really pretty. If you could have like profile GIFs instead of just profile pictures on like Facebook, I'd have that. That's cool. Well struck indeed. And so, like, even out here, I forget what they call, like, really far out ranges and good warlord speak, C range, whatever. This, like, third most outermost range. We're not in range to exchange, we're not grinding, we're outside at about max lunge range. even out here, I think you gotta be really active against that flow fighter. You kind of gotta overload their like mental shields. You know, you gotta throw so much static at them that they don't know like where you're gonna be coming in from. But he's static. He's static. I'm static as in standing still. I need to find a better word. Our board fighter is still. We get some movement here. This is good. And see, just for a moment, our flow fighter was backing up. Our flow fighter backs up. The shield fighter doesn't press. Our flow fighter is going to, boom, reset the pace of the fight. Yeah, look like a good trade to me, too. Let's get to the meat. I want to see the win. Okay, again, I love this little flick. This little round, this little circular movement with the sword here. We're past it. Yeah. Yeah, and now that fake is starting to look a little bit more like some of the strikes we're throwing. Unfortunately, he throws straight into the strong guard of this flow fighter. He's going for a wrap to that forearm. Yeah, I believe it looked like arm there. Again, I know it seems like I might be picking on this board fighter a lot, but it's just what I have. If any expertise, that's where it's at. And like this is a cool thing, you know, but there's like no reason for the shield to be really reciprocating back here. It's not like too in the way of the shot. Like the shield probably like from here on out should be dragging with that wrist. Not all the way out, because you do want to defend this shoulder against the like pop over the top that flow fighter will do if you move your shield too far. But again, getting the trade instead of a clean kill because of not setting it up. A little bit weird shield movement. Yep, trades again. Oh, I guess we're just going because our third fighter is left. Man, I feel like our board fighter might just be tired, but I'd like to see a little bit more bounce. Ooh, Madu. Okay, now I know I can tag this as Amp Guard. I'm interested to see what this guy with all his mobility is able to do. Was that an arm? Looked a little touchy on our left side fighter. This guy kind of looks like the guy with the long hair. Looks like Corey from Trailer Park Boys. Alright, just disrespect the hell out of this dude and stab him with the Madu. Was that tradesies? Yeah, top of body, top of body. Yeah, things to avoid doing, like when I'm talking about like active footwork against flow fighters, you don't want to lunge in and be planted against flow fighters. I think this may just be something like this fighter's footwork may be more built around flow or in Great Weapon where you're doing those big flowy steps a lot more. I think when you're stepping into somebody who has two sticks, you don't ever want to be planted in this position where they're going to be able to just overwhelm whatever kind of defenses you have with strikes. It's so hard for me to time when to slow down the video because our fighter in the blue pants here is so explosive. But did you die while reaching? YouTube hotkeys are hard. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, very nicely done. Catches this block. He has his hand choked up. He has a good, strong contact here, able to really like project some strength, get that block out of the way, and throw this nice, like, good body mechanics, good lunge here, land that Madu strike. I wonder if, like, our Flow Fighter's right hand was kind of dead in this exchange. It throws a fake, but it just kind of, like, chokes and panics here. I feel like it was responding like our Madu Fighter was still fighting two-stick, when it really should have just probably been, like, swinging for that little top-of-the-body shield side shot that you would throw against a shieldman as a two-stick fighter. And this is going to be the last fight I'm going to review because this video is already super long. Don't roll your ankle, bro. Well, that's kind of a weird fight to end it on. Sometimes you just get stabbed. I think, again, we just got to, like... Yeah, our shield fighter is just having a lot of movement with the shield. Excessive movement, one might say. We'll make this our last fight. Okay. Cool guys don't drop their swords. Alright, cue Eye of the Tiger. I just got stabbed off. Okay, we'll just call it there, guys. I don't want to, this is 8 minutes in, the video's 26 minutes long. So, have a good night.